Welcome to Creative Evolution, the show that gives artists a real plan for a long term career. I'm your host, Josi J. Today, we're joined by the incredibly talented Alicia Harvey, a Nashville born, Knoxville based independent country artist, songwriter, and IT professional who's played over 500 shows. In this episode, we dive deep into her country roots, from serving beers at her grandmother's bar at just 3 years old to the spiritual validation of accepting Song of the Year at the 2024 Josie Music Awards on the Grand Ole Opry stage. Alicia shares her powerful journey of finding her true creative family in the welcoming Knoxville music scene, how she leveraged her IT skills to independently crowdfund her debut EP, and the strict boundaries she set to avoid burnout while balancing a music career with a full time day job. Remember, you have to put the miles on your soul to write the real story. Let's start the evolution. Can we do it? Alicia, welcome to Creative Evolution. I'm so happy you're here.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's tell everybody, who is Alicia Harvey? What do you do? Where did you come from? Let's tell them all the things.
Well, I was born and raised in the Nashville area and lived there for most of my life until probably about 2014. Went through a divorce and ended up in Knoxville after I met my wife and decided to live here. And everybody's like, "Well, you're kind of doing this music thing backwards." Grew up around the Nashville area. My family's still there. Once I moved to Knoxville, I wanted to do music. And I was like, "Well, I don't see anybody else that's doing the kind of country music I wanna see doing." I've never seen people around Knoxville do country music like I wanted to hear. And so I had a band and started doing music around, Knoxville and East Tennessee. And, it kinda took off before I knew it. I was getting gigs left and right, and they're like, "Oh, we don't see many girls playing guitar and singing country music around here." And you would think with Dollywood and all of that, you would see more of that. But I just couldn't find it. Maybe I just wasn't looking in the right place, but who knows? But yeah, been doing, music ever since, and I've performed over 500 shows in that time frame, and I've lost my mind. No. 'Cause I still work full time.
Oh, yeah, you've definitely lost your.
Yeah.
But I have to.
Yeah, what do you do? It's what we do and it's what we love, so.
Yeah. So you grew up in Nashville spinning records on your grandma's bar jukebox.
Mhm.
Take us back to that little girl and what she heard in those songs that changed everything.
Well, let me give you a little backstory about the bar.
Yeah.
It was a bad part of Nashville that my grandmother owned this bar, and I believe it's probably still a bad part of Nashville. But anyways, she owned this bar, and my mom was big and pregnant with my brother, and I was, like, 3 years old and serving the regulars beer. I was like, "Oh, there's Billy. He drinks a Busch beer." And I climb up on the little step stool and get his beer and have it waiting for him when he walked in. And, I always tell people in my shows that, if that's not a country song, I don't know what is.
Yes. That is absolutely a
And,
country song.
we wrote Gun Totin' Granny, based on that story. And, but back to the music part, I always wanted to hear the jukebox, and I would get the drunks to give me their quarters and, play the jukebox. And, my mom tells me that I used to just walk around singing all the time, and she instilled that love for country music in me.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Do you remember what your favorite record was to play?
I remember some things, like, vaguely, since I was so young. George Strait had an album, well, it was a cassette that I had. A little cassette, you know what that is? Yeah. I'm sure some people don't know that's listening. So this cassette was like a CD, and you may not know what a CD is. Here we go. George Strait had this album that was out, and I believe All My Exes Live in Texas was in that on that album. And, my mom said I used to go around singing that song, and Randy Travis, Digging Up Bones. That's just the ones that I remember, but I'm sure there was a million more.
Oh, I'm sure you probably knew most of what was on that jukebox,
Oh, yeah.
even at a young age.
Oh, yeah.
So growing up in Nashville gives you a front row seat to the music industry from a very young age. What was that like, and how did it shape your relationship with music?
Living in Nashville, you kind of you're around it all the time, so you don't really think about it in a way, but with me, I was so shy and I had, like, no confidence at the time, being so young. I wasn't brave enough to get up in front of people and sing or play. My mom would ask me to play guitar at, like, family gatherings, and I was like, "Oh god, please don't make me. Please don't make me." "But you're good." "Mom, I'm glad you like what I do, but please do not make me do this." And that happened a few times over the years where she did talk me into doing it, and, of course, my face would turn blood red, and I was sweating, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so nerve-wracking. Why are you making me do this?" So I kinda didn't really dig into the scene, or really study much about it. I just was obsessed with country music and wanted to know everything about it. But I think what really started the itch to do music was when I was 9 years old. I went to my first Alan Jackson concert. My mom was a big fan. I was a big fan, gotta love Chattahoochee. That was my first, real concert experience, and it just, like, lit a fire in me.
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is cool," And I get to see somebody that's famous.
Yes.
This is so cool. So, that definitely started the itch. It was probably around that same time, there was this guitar that, sat around the house, nobody played. It was a guitar that my grandmother bought for me when I was, like, 3 and didn't know that till later on. But there was a couple of strings on it, and my mom heard me in the basement one day kinda plunking around on it and, listening to Fishing in the Dark. I do remember that. And she's like, "Well, I'll get some strings on that guitar if you wanna learn how to play and get some lessons." And I was like, "Okay, sure, alright." So I started lessons and did that for about a year and a half, but I found that I was getting a little bored with it, and I think what it was, I think he wasn't moving fast enough for me.
Yeah.
So I learned the basic chords, wanted to be in school band, so I decided to do that, and then kinda put the guitar to the side, but not really. I mean, I'd pick it up every now and then, but one summer, my aunt had gotten me the Hanson,
Mm,
songbook. Yes, because I still love Hanson too, and, I'm a lifelong Hanson fan.
I love it.
Little did some people know. A lot of people know, though. I don't hide it too well, so it's fine. But my aunt had got me this songbook, and it had guitar chords in it, and I put the CD in and looked through that songbook, and I'm like, "Well, I know the chords G, C, D. Okay, yeah, let me just see if I can figure this out," and I just picked right up on it.
Yeah.
I played to the whole CD, and it was awesome, and so that really lit a fire too, and, I was still a nervous wreck on stage, so I didn't want to pursue it that way, but or at least at the time, I didn't think I did. I had big dreams, but I was too scared. And of course, life took over and I got busy in school and I played softball. And so the guitar definitely got put way back in the closet for a while. But it was still there. I always had that itch still. So I guess probably my first real love broke my heart when we were 19. And shortly after that, I wrote my first song about that heartbreak. And just something that it always kept me coming back to music, coming back to the
Yeah.
guitar. And yeah.
So your heart's broken
Mhm.
and you write this song about just how devastating that was. In the past, you've mentioned Patsy Cline, Terry Clark, Patty
Mhm.
Loveless, Ashley McBride, and Ella Langley as inspirations. What thread runs through all of those artists that impacted you as a songwriter?
That's a question I've never been asked before. It probably, unknowingly, I probably picked up on things in the songwriting naturally in those songs that I'd listened to for years. It, I'm sure it somehow shaped me, obviously, to just sit down, but I remember sitting down to write the song, and really, I think I was just writing down my thoughts. I don't think it was a song initially, but I was writing down my thoughts, and I was like, "Well, this kinda sounds like a song, or it could be a song. Maybe I could turn this into a song." So I took another song, I don't remember what song it was, just printed out on a piece of paper, the lyrics, the chords, and the progression of how the lines were written. And I kinda just used that as a template, and I wrote that song, and I was just like, "Well, that song's not too bad." And I'd play it for a couple people, they're like, "Oh my god, this is great." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Cool.
Right.
What have I done? Oh, I've created a monster. No.
And this monster is still chasing you today.
Yes, and it just won't go away, so I decided to embrace it.
Yeah, we have to.
Mhm.
So you've been performing since 2015 and you've played over 500 shows, like you said. What did those early shows teach you about yourself as a performer?
That I could actually make it through an hour and a half performance, and here I am doing 3 and 4-hour gigs now, but I remember thinking, "Oh god, how am I ever gonna play for an hour? That scares me to death.
Hmm.
I'm terrified. What am I gonna play?" And I think I probably made a set list or something, but, that's when iPads were very first kinda coming along. I'm going back to 2012. I say I've been performing since 2015, but I would do one-offs kinda here and
Yeah.
there, iPads were just coming along, and, I had borrowed an iPad and a little stand because I figured out you could get a stand for your microphone.
Mhm.
I was like, "Well, okay, I need something there to make me feel a little more comfortable."
Yeah.
'Cause I if I get up there, I'm gonna just panic and forget everything I know.
Yes, which has happened to all of us
Exactly.
at least once.
Mhm. So, I did that, and I played this little, like, free some kinda it was called Upper Cumberland Festival in, Cookeville, and, there was, like, nobody there. It was, my mom, my ex-husband, and his mom, and then a friend of mine, and that was it. That was the only people there, and that was nerve-wracking enough, and I was on an actual stage with lights, and I was just like, "Oh my god, what am I doing?
Right.
What have I done to myself?" So, ended up there was these 2 guys that showed up that were gonna be playing that festival, like, the next day, and they were like, "Hey, we play," and the guy gets up and plays his harmonica. Well, the other guy gets up with his guitar, and we all, like, sang Wagon Wheel and Can't You See, and those videos are on YouTube, by the way. You could see me in my real green days, looking terrified, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm
I haven't watched
sorry.
him in so long this I would probably be like, "Oh, Alicia, I just wanna give you a hug. It's okay.
It's gonna be okay.
You're gonna survive."
They can't eat you.
Yeah. Oh, man. Just I can go back I could just see that moment. I can go back into that moment and just feel those same emotions that I had back then.
Yeah.
I know how hard that was for me.
It was so hard. And how did it affect you, them getting on stage? Did it really ease those nerves for you?
No.
No.
And then I found that later, 2015 on, that I had to have an alcohol drink before I got on stage,
Yeah.
which obviously turned into a bad habit later on, but, being a musician, that's kind of, it's not hard to do.
Right. It's part of the lifestyle.
It
You're
is.
playing in bars.
It is.
So you're Nashville born, but Knoxville based.
Mhm.
Tell us about the transition and what Knoxville has given you as an artist that Nashville could not.
And I just recently told somebody this, and Knoxville made me the musician that I never could have been had I stayed in Nashville. Not that I don't love Nashville, not that I don't appreciate the music scene, but back then, when I started the idea of pursuing a career, probably around 2014, somewhere in there, and I was kind of in the middle of a marriage and dealing with that and just kind of trying to find that escape. And so I started, thinking, okay, well, I'm going to start asking advice to musicians in Nashville. Well, I started asking advice and I found that not everyone was so warm and welcoming, especially in Nashville. I feel like a lot of people hold the information to themselves and they're afraid they're going to give away a secret if they give any other musician any kind of
Yeah.
advice because it's so competitive there.
Yeah.
It's just a totally different ballgame than it is, I think, anywhere. But I can speak only from experience in Knoxville. But Knoxville's music community to me is so warm and welcoming. It's like we're all a big family. We don't all get to see each other very often, but when we do, it's like we've been best friends forever.
Exactly.
And so it's a nice community to be a part of. And, again, I wouldn't have gotten the experience that I have here in Nashville. I wouldn't have got that experience.
Yeah.
I would have ended up in the Broadway bars, and I think that would have ended up burning me out real quick.
I can imagine so. Especially, I don't feel like there's a lot of room to grow when you have to be that competitive.
I agree.
Because when it's forced,
Exactly.
It'll burn you out,
It will. Yeah.
like you said.
Well, and a lot of those bars down there, it's not really about country music and the history of it. It's more of, okay, the popular hits, even if it's
Mhm.
classic rock.
Yeah.
And that just I was like, I don't mind classic rock, but that's just not me. That's not what I want to sing.
Right.
I don't enjoy that.
But not only that, but, like, it doesn't leave a lot of room for you to really explore yourself
Mhm.
as a songwriter,
Right.
let alone as a performer.
Yeah.
Ugh, I don't blame you for moving here.
Well, and I didn't move here for music, I moved here because of love, and it changed my life in all the ways for the better, so it was just meant to be. It was meant for me to be here, yeah.
It definitely was. So in 2024, you won Song of the Year at the Josie Music Awards for "Losing." Tell us the story behind that song and what winning that award meant to you.
The song, I had this idea of losing my mind, losing my money. If I didn't have you, I'd lose you, honey. That line just stuck in my head just randomly.
Mhm.
And when I knew I wanted to make an album and I knew I needed an upbeat honky tonkin' song. And so I went to my friends David and Laurie. Laurie couldn't write with us at that time, so me and David wrote the song. But I brought that line to him and he kind of tweaked it a little bit. And we wrote Losing pretty quick. And I've got another funny, not funny, excuse me, a coincidental thing about Losing. We wrote that song July 13th, 2021. And my mom passed away July 13th, 2022. And then I go and I win that award.
I think your mom smiled on you that day.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if you know much about the Josie Music Awards, but
Yeah.
people like 100,000 people submit their music and, submit for these awards every year. And just to be nominated, and the categories are huge. I mean, we're talking like 10, 12, 15 people in these categories. And for me to be nominated, let alone win, that's just it really just means so much to me.
Yeah.
And it's not like, okay, I need an award for my mantle, it's not about that. It's about receiving that validation that I'm doing the right thing,
Yes.
that I'm following the right path,
Yeah.
because I do have those doubts just like a lot of people do,
Yeah.
especially as an artist. You do have the self-doubt. And you're always like, if I could just get that one thing to inspire me again, or that one thing to continue me to go further, it's gonna keep me afloat,
Yeah.
and it's gonna keep me happy, and it's gonna, change everything. But winning that award, it's strange, I'm a spiritual person, and, I've had spiritual experiences throughout my life, with energy around me and things like that. But the moment literally before they called my name, I felt this warm, like, hot chill come over my entire body, and they said my name. And of course, my wife, she was like, "Oh my god." And I'm like, "Well, I gotta hurry up and get up there. I'm sitting in the back." I was like, "Wait for me. I'm coming."
I promise I'm on my way.
But, stepping on that stage at the Grand Ole Opry, because that's my ultimate goal, was to play the Grand Ole Opry, and just standing on that stage where people like Patsy Cline and Terry Clark has stood, and it's just it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
Oh, I have chills now just talking about it. I can only imagine you're gracing the same stage as all of the greats,
Right.
just absolute greats.
Mhm.
And then you get to stand up there right where they stood.
And it felt like it was over in 1 second,
Yeah.
'cause it's just like you're such in a hurry, and you gotta hurry up and say your thank yous and get off the stage.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they're like, "Hey, you gotta go through this side door." And I'm like, "Okay." And I'm, like, looking for this door, and I don't see a door.
Oh, no.
And I was like and they're like, "You push the round circle." And I'm like, "What? The round is you mean the doorknob?" But it was some kinda round circle that you pushed on. I mean,
Did it open a door? Like, was it
it
attached
opened
to the door or did it just open the door?
it just opened the door. Yeah, I don't know. But you
It's
just
even better.
yeah, I mean, it's the Opry, come on. But I was like and make it so hard, and I was so frazzled because I just won an award, and I was just like, I don't know where my name is or anything.
Right, you're just vibrating
Yeah,
through
I mean,
looking for a song.
oh my god, I just had so much adrenaline rushing, but the you go in this, like, backstage area, and it's just not that impressive. You get back there, and you're just like, "Oh." And then I'm looking around, I'm like, "Where am I supposed to go?" And they're like, "Oh, you get your awards now." And so you actually get your award right then, and they actually had an award for my co-writer as well.
Yay.
So, yeah, I got
Yeah.
to give that to him, and that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So your songs tell real stories of heartbreak, healing, and hope. Which one has been the hardest to write and why?
Probably a better me. I was going through, grieving the loss of my mom, and it was still fresh. I think we probably wrote that song not long after she passed away. When I was grieving so hard after she first passed away, you know, you've got all these emotions you've never experienced before if you've never lost a parent. You're happy, you're sad, you're mad. You go through so many emotions and it's constantly changing. You don't know how you're gonna feel in the next minute. So, I didn't always treat my wife the nicest, nothing bad, but just the kinda mood I was in,
Yeah.
just wasn't always nice, and I always had this thought in my head, I wanna work on being a better me,
Yeah.
and in all the ways, my health, just everything. And we kinda wrote that song as a promise to her that I would always try to work on a better me and try to be better every day
Yeah.
because I'm gonna mess up. Yeah, I'm human, and I'm gonna always try to strive to be a better me. And that song has brought some people to me, talking about losing their parents, and that's what it's really about. When you write a song, it's like you wanna touch somebody.
Yeah.
And when somebody can come tell you, "You really helped me on that song," and because I've lost my mom or I've lost my dad, and that's all I could ever hope for. It's
Yeah.
just that means more than anything, more than any award or
Oh,
anything.
yeah. Absolutely.
But, yeah, writing A Better Me was hard. Singing it for a long time was super hard. To not cry,
Yeah.
because my mom and I were very close. We talked every day, and she died suddenly, and it was unexpected, and she was a young 73, and, she just couldn't hang on anymore. But, Better Me, I was trying to think there was something else I was gonna say. Oh, that song has become an even more of a meaning to me when I quit drinking.
Yeah.
You know, I went I wasn't always the nicest when I drank either, verbally, and I just had to quit. I just had to quit. I had to let it go and try to be a better me.
Right.
It's to quote myself.
Absolutely. So, what was the moment that you realized you were building something real with your music career?
I think a lot of that going back to songwriting and then people connecting with me,
Yeah.
that's when it's been kinda like, "Oh, wow, I'm really doing something."
Yeah.
Because you can go out here and you can play these cover gigs and sing all your favorite songs, and half the bar doesn't care you're there, and half of them are like, "Who's this chick?"
All right. We're just background.
Yeah.
We're just background.
So, I'm
Yeah.
I'm used to people not paying me any attention.
Yeah.
So, when I do play rooms that people are very intently watching me, I get so nervous. I mean, it's not a bad thing, I'm learning to embrace it because I'm not used to it,
Yeah.
and I'm not used to people wanting to hear my original music, so, I don't play them often enough, sometimes I forget the words,
Me too.
and I'm like, "These are my own songs, I don't know." I'm like, "What's the next line? Do you guys know? Because I don't."
They're like, no,
No, we don't know any of your lines
we're
here.
just along for the ride. We love it.
Yes, yes.
So, what do you think about letting the listeners hear a little bit of your music?
I think that'd be great.
Can we do it?
Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm so happy that the listeners got to hear Losing A Better Me, Gun Totem Granny, and You Didn't Love Me, especially after you just explained the songs to them. I think there's something so beautiful in being able to tell where your stories and your songs come from. So that is so meaningful. Thank you for letting me play you
Of course.
on the air.
Yeah, thanks.
So now we'll talk about the business of art a little bit because, we've been doing this for a while. So you're a CMA member and a BMI songwriter. Tell us about joining those organizations and what they've meant to your career.
Well, BMI, I just want to make sure that I get what royalties I can, not to sound greedy, but as songwriters, it's not too much money at all.
No.
It's cents, like cents below cents. Negative cents is what it is.
I just got my quarterly and it was $11.15.
Oh, jeez. I know. Don't spend it all in one place.
I'm going to try not to.
I mean, don't get crazy, But yeah, it's not what you think it is, but it's nice to feel a little bit more secure about your songs and that you're doing the right things to get what you're owed, I guess. And as far as CMA goes, that's an honor to be a member of the CMA. I've grew up watching the CMA Awards and just obsessing over everything and every little part of that show. That, it was kind of like a full circle moment, I guess. Just spending all this time and admiring something and being able to have that label. That's nice. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful that you got to become a part of it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
You participated in Tennessee Songwriters Week in 2020, 2022, 23, 24, and 2025. What does that experience do for you as a songwriter and as a networker in the industry?
Well, I think what it does for me as a songwriter is another, kind of going back to people are intently listening to you and, giving you their thoughts and their thanks and appreciation for whatever you played after that. It's just more validation that you're doing the right thing and this is your path. You can meet a lot of people doing the songwriter weeks, and I've met several, fellow artists and local songwriters, and been able to create friendships with everyone that I really admire and cherish. At one of the songwriters weeks, saw this girl that was about to play, and she pulls out this guitar, and it was my dream guitar, and I was like, "Oh my gosh." I said, "Can I please play your guitar?" And she's like, "Sure." Oh my gosh, and it just felt like butter.
I bet it did. What was it?
A Gibson Hummingbird, and that's what I've got now. My uncle was gracious enough and asked me what my dream guitar was, and I told him, and he bought it for me.
Oh, I love that.
So, but now that I've played a guitar of that magnitude, nothing compares.
Right.
So I'm like, now I have expensive taste. Thanks. It's like every guitar that sounds good is, $2,000. I'm like, really? This is not I can't pay 500. No,
No, because we have caviar tastes.
right. I mean, Ashley McBride had it best or said it best. She had an EP she released before anybody ever really knew who she was. I mean, she was kind of on her way, but it's called Jalopies and Expensive Guitars. The EP. It's not available anymore because she re-released some of the songs recently, and so they took it down. But
no.
I don't know if I'm allowed to have it, but yeah.
You've opened for established artists and built your own loyal fan base simultaneously. How do you think about those two tracks and how do you balance them?
Well, as far as opening for other artists, I think that really can help your career, even if it's somebody just one tier above you. You always want to surround yourself with people that know more than you or have more experience than you because you're going to learn something from them.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you're going to learn, but you pick up on so much that you don't even realize half the time just by watching them or getting advice. I've got a couple of mentors in the business that are on different levels than I am that have been doing it a whole lot longer. And it's meant the world, their friendship. And they just let me bug them about questions all the time and advice and things like that. But, I can really appreciate that. Most everybody's just really nice and great to the opener, and it's been an honor to open up for those people. But as far as the fan base goes, back to the songwriting and appreciation thing, you really appreciate anybody that wants to support you. I mean, when I made my album, I didn't think, I wasn't. I knew people would listen, but you don't really know. 'Cause you're like, really, who really cares? Come on. I think that's a lot of imposter syndrome that, artists have, but you're like, is this going to be a waste of my time?
Right.
All those thoughts go through your head. And I was lucky enough to put together pre-order packages, and I ran my own crowdfunding campaign through my website, and I was able to raise the money for my album.
That's incredible.
And for, the services like PR, I paid for PR, buying the CDs, the shirts, the guitars. I offered several things in my pre-order packages, but I was so shocked that I was able to pull that off this early in my career.
Yeah. I can only imagine because it scares me to think about even trying to crowdfund for something.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to keep up with,
Yes.
especially if you don't use a service like Kickstarter. A lot of people use Kickstarter, and Kickstarter, they take a pretty hefty chunk.
That's what I've heard.
And I don't know of any other services out there because I've not researched it myself, but I know that I knew how to do the stuff as far as my website goes and setting things up on my website. I've been playing on websites since I was like 11. That's another side of people might not know of me, is that I also work in IT. I'm a computer person.
I
I
love
work
it.
on computers, so that's kind of my day job. So I knew how to work on my website and get it set up to where I could take payments and things like that. And some people would do Venmo and all that. But thank you, by the way, to everyone who did support me. That meant the world to me. And I was able to release my first EP, and it turned out exactly how I wanted it to. I hired a couple of musicians from Nashville. The guitar player, I went to school with him. He's Hank Jr.'s guitar player. And, so he said he'd play on it for me, and then I got a drummer that I've worked with out of Nashville that's played the Opry and things like that, and then I hired, local musicians for the rest of it, and my producer, he also played bass on it, but it turned out better than I could have imagined,
Yeah.
and, it's like, that was more proof to myself that I don't have to be in Nashville to do what I want to do.
Exactly.
And most people don't even think of Knoxville being a music town, but it is.
It really is. There are just so many talented people here anyway.
Yeah.
And in every discipline of art.
Mhm.
There are comedians
Mhm.
that are so funny. They make my sides hurt.
Oh, wow.
And
I need to go check that out.
yes, you do. You absolutely do. There are painters that will just blow your
Oh, yeah.
mind.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've got a good friend. He actually works at Hummingbird. You know Charlie Pogue?
Hmm.
Yeah, Charlie, he works there at Hummingbird, but he's an amazing artist. And he just had his art displayed for a month or 2 at the Bijou.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
What an honor.
Yeah. I'm like, man, that is so cool. I went to see it a couple of times.
I bet. I would have too if I'd known.
And his dad was an artist too, I believe, or is an artist.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd never know.
No. And then also another cool thing, this place I hang out at is called Hummingbird Apothecary, and they've got a lot of herbs and teas and coffees and all the good things. And they have been such a great community since I've quit drinking. I've been able to, connect with people that are kind of on the same level as me, and it's just been a great community to be a part of. But every month they display every month they display a local artist and their art all through Hummingbird. Then you can purchase the art too.
That's wonderful.
And they change up the artists like every month. And sometimes they have a vinyl night, and then I've performed there a couple of times, and just that's a place that people should check out in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll throw them in the show notes. That way people can
Mhm.
check them out.
Mhm.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So you've performed at venues from Key West, Florida to Nashville to East Tennessee. How do you approach booking and breaking into new markets?
Booking, I just, mainly try to research and find, who I should contact, whether it be I ask, for a person or an email or just look for information first. Try to find that information before I ask somebody,
Yeah.
because they might have a form on their website you could fill out, things like that. But I just reach out to the places and just say, "Hey, here's what I'm about. Is this something you might be interested in partnering with me?" And a lot of times they do, thankfully. But I mean, of course, you wouldn't know because some of those don't answer you anyways. But that's
Yeah.
another point. But
It is.
yeah, I mean, you hit a lot of walls, and you're going to.
Yeah.
And that's just part of it, and I try to not bug places. Everybody's got their own way they do things, but I try to not bug places, but if I really wanna play somewhere, I'll follow up in a reasonable amount of time that I feel
Yeah.
that I can follow up in, and if I really wanna play somewhere, I just try to make it happen, and
Yeah.
and I've been lucky. I've gotten to play some really cool places, and, even I've got some couple other things that are gonna be coming up in June and can't announce them yet, but got some cool stuff coming up, some cool places.
We can't wait to see what happens.
I know, you're gonna just have to follow all my socials.
That's exactly right. Plug, 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 plug.
A. Harvey Music.
What does your revenue model look like right now? And how do you sustain a career as an independent country artist?
My revenue, as far as revenue goes, I'm able to most places will pay you a base pay, and, I've got that, and then the tips that come in through either Venmo, Cash App, all that good stuff, and then good old cash, which, that's my favorite.
Uh, Yes. Yes, please.
And, I'm sorry to those that do offer to buy me a beer since I don't drink. It's like, "Oh, you can put that dollar in my tip jar if you'd like." I mean,
Yes.
sure.
That would be lovely. So, what is one piece of business advice you wish someone had given you earlier in your career?
You don't have to be in Nashville to do what you want in music.
Absolutely.
I believed that I had to be for so long that it bothered me that I wasn't there. I felt like I was missing out, but not that I regretted moving, because I don't at all. But, there's that part of me that's like, I'm missing out on everything. What's going on? I'm over here. What's everybody doing over there?"
Right. Yeah.
But I let myself focus too hard on that instead of focusing on what my purpose was anyways, is playing music and singing and writing, and, I thank God for technology because it makes it, to where you don't have to live in Nashville.
Exactly. Yeah. The reach is there through technology, plus the capabilities that our studios have here.
Oh, yeah.
There are so many that are so good here close to home.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like my producer, he went to school in Nashville for audio engineering, and he has his studio in Maryville at his house, and he interned in Nashville. So, I mean, he knows what it's about and what I'm looking for, and
Yeah.
that's one reason I'm glad we connected like we did. He was able to, some people may not know this, that, you can record, have an artist or a musician record in Nashville and then send your track over here to Knoxville and just add it to the music and piece it together. And,
Yeah.
you know, that's probably on another podcast episode, how to piece together songs and recording.
Oh, it's got to be. It's got to be. Which a lot of people don't realize when they first start out, unless they just been around it,
Mhm.
is now with the technology we have, like we could record right here
Oh, yeah.
in my kitchen
Yeah.
and send it over to your producer.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. Yep.
Mm.
And he does his magic and sends it right back.
Yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
It's pretty cool. I like the recording process.
Oh, I do too. I do too. What do you think about introducing us to another independent artist?
Sure. First name that came to my mind was one of my mentors, JD Shelburne. He's from Kentucky, but he lives in Nashville, and He's been doing this for quite a long time, longer than me, and he's just been a great resource and a great mentor to me, and he's been a great friend, and he just played the Grand Ole Opry for the first time in July of last year, and I got to go be there and see him do that, and that was pretty cool. But he's yeah, y'all need to check him out because I think he's really headed to the top. I really believe in him, and he's been supportive and believes in me, and yeah,
And you believe in him too.
I do, I do. That's what it's about, supporting each other
Exactly.
and, sharing info which you can, because that's what being an independent artist is about. It's not about record deals. It's, me personally, I want to hold out as long as I can to not get a deal because it can get a little tricky.
Oh, that's the best way to put it. It's
Mhm.
tricky.
It is tricky. There's a lot that you don't realize until you really realize, and you're like, oh, okay.
Hmm.
I didn't know that I would owe the record label millions of dollars because they loaned it to me.
Exactly. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
Well, let's turn on a little bit of JD Shelburne for our listeners.
All right, let's do it.
Can we do it then?
I absolutely love that so much. So thank you for telling us about JD Shelburne. You can check the show notes below to find all the information about him. All right, so let's talk about your mindset. You were a coach in the Voice Off competition in Knoxville in 2023.
Mhm.
What did being on the other side of the table teach you about artistry and development?
Well, it reminded me of me when I was first up on stage and nervous, and I could feel their emotions being up there. But being the coach, being asked was an honor, anyways. But I feel like it was kind of a way that they could come to me for advice, and
Yeah.
I could give them advice of what I do and how to get where I'm at this point in my career. And just there's so many talented people out there. That's another thing you discover doing something like that. You're like, wow, where did this person come from? And I even met there was a guy that came for all the way from Nashville, actually,
Wow.
and just to be in this competition, and we became friends, and so we stay connected and stuff. And he's real good. Olin Wallace is his name, but he's a great artist. He started a great writers round out there called Lyrics and Long Necks.
Lyrics and long necks.
And I've played that once, and I don't get out there enough to play it more than once, but yeah, he seems like he's done real good with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. You've been nominated for Josie Music Awards 6 times across 2 years. How do you handle the pressure of industry recognition while staying grounded in the music itself?
Well, being an independent artist, I probably don't feel as much pressure from the business per se as an artist out of Nashville. I think, yeah, it's still there, but I'm not faced with it every day.
Yeah.
And I've heard so many brutal stories about the music industry and record labels and record deals, and it's kinda makes you not wanna do it in some ways, because you're like, "Well, gosh, I don't wanna be in that situation.
Right.
I don't want a bad deal. I don't wanna be stuck doing something I don't wanna do, singing a song that I don't wanna sing."
Yeah.
There's so much more to just being independent. Yeah, it's harder in some ways, but in some ways, it's you're learning. So you're gaining all this knowledge to be able to hold your own if and when, you get offered a record deal or something.
Yeah.
I feel like it gives you enough knowledge to know, okay, this is what I'm gonna do if I get faced with a record deal. I'm gonna first I'm gonna find an entertainment lawyer so they can read over any contracts that are presented to me. And it would have to be somebody that I can hopefully trust.
Yeah.
Because you don't wanna get roped into a bad deal, and then at that point, that would be when I would decide if that was the best move for me or not, at that time. But that's just a piece of, knowledge that I would think that would help.
Yeah. I think so. What does creative burnout look like for you, and what do you do to come back from it?
Creative burnout is, probably playing way too many shows too many times in a row for myself. I do hit a point where It's not that I'm don't like it, it's just I'm tired. I work full time, music half the time and just living life, and it's like, okay, it can be a lot sometimes. You just gotta know when you need to take a break. I think that's just key, recognizing when you are approaching a burnout period. I think it's key that you try to be mindful of that and take breaks, take
Yeah.
vacations, just split it up, take one weekend off a month. That's what I did for a long time, and I still try to do. I take Sundays off. I don't play on Sundays. There's times that I miss out on a lot of gigs, but I'm like, I need that time at home.
Yeah, you need that rest.
Yeah, and I need the rest, and, so I try not to gig more than 2 times a weekend, since I do work full time, but everybody's like, "Oh, you're always playing." I'm like, "Well, technically not." But I guess it could seem that way to somebody.
Absolutely, yeah.
I still do probably 70 to 100 shows a year.
Oh my gosh. You are a machine.
Well, this machine's slowing down. When I turned 40, it's like, "Hello."
When I turned 30, it was like, hello.
Mhm.
So take care of your bodies, kids.
Yes.
Whoever's listening, take care of your bodies. Your bio says your songs carry the honesty of your own journey. How do you decide what is too personal to put into a song and what absolutely has to go in?
I think as far as too personal goes, I think it would just depend on what it's about. I go pretty personal, but I still try to reserve that for just privacy.
Yeah.
Just because you've still gotta have a private life a little bit. I mean, I'm pretty open. I'm a pretty open book, but I think you just kinda know, I think, what's too personal and what's not. As a feeling inside of you. If you feel uncomfortable about it, then you probably won't like that information being out there.
Yeah.
If any part of that song, or something makes you feel uncomfortable to just the thought of releasing it, then I think that's when you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree.
Mhm.
Because we do know, for the most part, we do know our own boundaries.
Mhm.
So, what about what absolutely has to go in? How do you decide that?
Usually, if I've got something stuck in my head, a rhythm, a guitar rhythm, or certain words, or certain phrases, if they just keep on popping up in my head, it's gonna stick.
Yeah.
So we might as well roll with it and see what we can do with it. And that's usually the best songs that come out.
And they're usually the fastest ones too.
Yep. Yep. Definitely.
You blend the warmth of classic country with your own modern touch. How do you honor your influences while staying completely yourself?
I still try to play a lot of their songs and introduce a younger generation or people that don't know to my influences and past country music. For in my show, I play, it's 3 hours worth of music. I go from anywhere from Patsy Cline to Terry Clark to Ashley McBride to Ella Langley, those artists, and, all the in between. Reba, it was a big influence, Alan Jackson, just I try to introduce people to those songs and tell them a little bit about, why I like these songs and why I do these songs, and
Yeah.
I think it's always important to kinda let that history still be alive in some ways.
And that's beautiful. It's beautiful that you're able to do that.
Mhm.
What does the East Tennessee music scene mean to you, and how has it shaped your career?
Well, it means the world to me. It's, like I said, it was a very warm, welcoming community and just made me feel at home and not like Nashville did at times. Now I feel like I could go back to Nashville and I'm able to hold my own and I can compete with the best of them, but I feel more comfortable doing it at this point, and I wouldn't have done that had I not moved to East Tennessee just to really learn my chops,
Yeah.
and try to figure this out, and I think I had gone to so many concerts in my past that I absorbed so much information just by watching. I would watch the sound guy, I would watch the guitar guy, and I would watch every moving part of that stage. I didn't just watch the artist play and sing. I mean, yes, of course, that's why I was there. I just remember I'd watch the guy running the lights. I would watch the guy running the sound, it's I somehow absorbed enough information to get where I am now. And it's like I already knew this stuff. It's a weird natural feeling I can't describe.
So you were a sponge as a
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
What is the most important lesson 500 plus shows has taught you that no amount of preparation ever could?
Hauling your own gear is gonna break your back, and you won't even feel it until you turn 40 or older. Or yeah, the older we get, the harder it is physically. I will be honest with you. It's especially if I've got a band gig, I bring all the sound equipment. It's just a lot, it's it hurts. I've hurt my back a few times.
I believe it. I absolutely believe it.
I'm clumsy enough as it is, but I somehow end up with bruises every week.
And you're like, where did that come from? Is this from my equipment?
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What do you think about checking out some Allison Danielle?
Let's do it.
Can we do it?
Welcome back. Welcome back. Alicia Harvey, I'm so grateful and thankful that you were here with me today and you shared some of your story. You have told us about your songs and what the business looks like for you. So, to thank you, I'm going to put you in the hot seat.
All right.
So, for those of you who do not know, the hot seat is a this or that, yes or no, or short answer question game where my guest so lovingly has to answer as quickly as humanly possible. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Nashville or Knoxville?
Nashville.
Classic country or modern country?
Classic.
Patsy Cline or Ashley McBride?
Ashley McBride.
Heartbreak or hope?
Hope.
Studio or stage?
Stage.
Songwriting alone or co-writing?
Co-writing.
Big arena or intimate listening room?
Listening room.
Performing covers or original music?
Originals.
The song you are most proud of writing?
That's a tough one. Probably A Better Me. Just talking about always wanting to be a better me and do better.
Yeah.
And it can apply, at any point in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. The song you wish you had written?
Well, probably the one that I've been playing over and over since I've heard it, Weren't for the Wind by Ella Langley.
Oh,
That one just, something about that song is just, it hits right.
best show you've ever played?
Probably the one in Nashville at the Assembly Food Hall was pretty cool, but I don't know though.
It's tough, isn't it?
Because, every place is special in its own way, but I don't know, probably playing just in Nashville in general, but the Lipstick Lounge, I've played there once before, but it's just an iconic place and everybody's welcome, and I just love the vibe there, and they've been so gracious and lovely to me, and let me play there, and
Yeah.
it's a nice to have a place like that.
Yeah. The artist you most want to open for?
Probably my idol, Terry Clark. She's, I've gotten to sing with her a couple of times, but I feel like her audience would connect with me mainly because I am like her. But I find that anytime you're influenced by somebody, this is just my opinion, but I think that sometimes if you listen to an artist so much and you sing along to that artist so much, you're gonna hear a little bit of that artist when you sing.
Yeah.
Anyways. So because I get compared to Terry Clark, I get compared to Ashley McBride, I get compared to Ella Langley. But I don't know if it's because I can mimic the way they sound or what it is, but people compare me to them, and I'm like, well, I'm still me.
Right. What does that little girl at the jukebox think about where you are today?
She can't believe it. She's in shock. My little 12-year-old self would just be passing out.
Right. Pinch me.
Yeah, yep.
And now, time for your final gift. Alicia, what is the single most important piece of advice you would give to an independent artist who is trying to build a long-term creative career?
Have patience because it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a lot of hard work, but it is worth it if you love it as much as people like us do.
Yes. Have patience. Go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you.
Sure, you can find me on my website at aharveymusic.com. And then on my socials, it's A Harvey Music, and that's pretty much on all of them, I believe. So yeah.
I believe it. Even your link tree.
Yeah. My link tree. I forgot I had that for a second.
What a beautifully honest and inspiring conversation. I had such a good time with Alicia, just hanging out and getting to know her. Alicia Harvey is the ultimate example of what it means to build a sustainable, authentic career on your own terms. Her story proves that you don't have to stay in the highly competitive Nashville machine to be successful. Finding a supportive, family like community in East Tennessee gave her the environment she needed to truly blossom. We learned about the immense power of vulnerability in songwriting and how writing through profound grief and heartbreak, like she did with her songs Losing and A Better Me, can heal both you and your listeners. Also, she gave us a masterclass in the business of art, from bypassing third party platforms to run her own crowdfunding campaign to protecting her creative peace by strictly taking Sundays off. She shows us that juggling a day job with 70 to 100 shows a year is possible when you enforce your boundaries. Her final piece of advice is something every independent creative needs to hear: have patience, because building an authentic career takes immense hard work and doesn't happen overnight. I also want to give a huge, huge shout out to the incredible independent artists we featured during today's episode, starting with Alicia Harvey herself, JD Shelburne, and Allison Danielle. Be sure to check our show notes to find all the links to stream their music and support their journeys. Remember, you have to put the miles on your soul to write the real story. As always, I'm your host, Josie J. And until next week, your time to evolve starts right now.
Can